This time we will watch the storyline of the film Omar 2013. One of the awards this film received was winning the Best Feature Film category at the Asian Pacific Screen Event in 2013 and was shown at the United Nations in New York in 2014. A film that tells the story of three friends who both fought for Palestine in the face of Israeli Zionists. But things changed 180 degrees when one of their friends was arrested and forced to become an Israeli spy. For details, let's watch it together. Before watching, it needs to be emphasized that in my opinion this film is a form of Israeli propaganda against Palestine. On the West Bank, a man named Omar was seen making sure that no Israeli police were watching him to climb the separation wall. Omar heads to Taqre's house, who is a leader in a small group fighting the Israeli Zionists. There was also a family there. The three of them were friends since childhood who were fighting together. Omar seems to like Nadia, who is Taqre's younger sister. Nadia also seems to like Omar. On that day, they planned to carry out shooting exercises to prepare for a shooting mission against the Israeli army. Tariq immediately informed the brigade about their readiness to carry out the mission. In the evening, AMGAD and Omar were walking around talking about Nadia. Omar covered up when asked if he liked Nadia, while AMGAD was honest that he liked Nadia. This made Omar surprised. They both realized that Tariq was a tough person and would probably be angry if he found out that his younger brother was liked by his friends because of Amjad's words. The next day, Omar, who had finished his job as a baker, immediately came to Nadia's place, who was working as a seamstress, to determine whether Nadia was cheating on her by loving Amjad. When he wanted to return, Omar was seen by the Israeli police and immediately chased until he was caught. Omar was honest. His need was to meet his girlfriend. The Israeli police played a prank on Omar before letting him go and beating him.
The next day, the three of them were fed up with the territorial annexation, which often occurred with the plan to kill Israeli soldiers. In this scene, Israeli propaganda can be seen depicting the three as criminals. A plan was carried out. Omar was tasked with stealing the car that would be used for the mission, and Amjad shot the Israeli soldiers who were not ready. After the mission was successful, they immediately destroyed the evidence, including burning the car used. Next week, Omar, who missed Nadia, immediately came to her to talk about their future. After that, Omar, Amjad, and Tariq, who were having lunch, were chased by the Israeli police, who knows who leaked yesterday's shooting mission. The three of them split up to escape, but unfortunately for Omar, he failed to escape. During interrogation, Omar did not speak out, even though the torture he received was so painful that the production equipment was heated with a match. Omar also believes that the Israeli police have no evidence of the shooting and will soon release Omar in prison. Omar also feels anxious because it could be that the other prisoners are Israeli police spies. At lunch, Omar met with Hazen, who claimed to be from the Al-Aqsa Brigade. He warned him to be careful with other prisoners who might be spies for the Israeli police. And it's true that Omar innocently said the important thing, namely that he would never confess, which means he indirectly admitted to the shooting. Immediately after lunch, he was taken and met with Hazen, who had disguised himself as a prisoner. Hazen certainly surprised Omar, because Omar indirectly admitted Omar was also offered cooperation with the Israeli police, but Omar firmly refused. Omar's lawyer also explained that the recording of his conversation with Hazen was a confession, and Omar would face a minimum prison sentence of 90 years.
على الأقل 90 سنة طول ما في احتلال ولا شيء.
Hazen then called Omar again, and finally Omar was willing to cooperate with the Israeli police because Hazen threatened Nadia's safety. With a deadline of 1 month, Omar is required to trap the murderer of the Israeli soldier so that he can be arrested. And later Omar is promised to be free from the 90-year sentence. Then Omar immediately met his girlfriend and said that he was released because the Israeli police had no evidence to detain him. Omar also asked Nadia about Tarek's whereabouts, but Nadia also didn't know where her brother was. Tarek and Amjad, who contacted Omar via public telephone, immediately took him to their hiding place. They met again, and what was unique was that Omar was immediately honest, that he was cooperating with the Israeli police. Tarek also believes that there are traitors from other brigades. Who leaked the three's actions? They planned to set up a trap by ambushing the Israeli police, who were bringing Tarek. During his conversation with Tarek, Omar said he wanted to marry Nadia. Tarek agreed and was willing to help Omar, but he said to focus first on the ambush mission. The next day Nadia and Omar met at a boarding house, and Omar said to be serious with Nadia. The 1-month deadline given by Hazen has expired. Omar also asks for more time, even though it is known that Omar is only stalling for time.
The Israeli police immediately wanted to take Omar back to prison, but with his cleverness, Omar managed to escape. When he was running away, he stopped at Nadia's school. But to Omar's surprise, when he saw his girlfriend talking to Amjad, Omar started to become suspicious of Amjad. After school, Nadia talked to Omar and was asked what he was talking about with Amjad. Nadia explained that she was just saying hello to Amjad, who was passing by. When the two of them were talking, there seemed to be someone suspicious, so Omar arrested the man, and it was true that the person was an Israeli police spy. Omar became increasingly trusted by Tarek because of his success in catching the man. Then the ambush mission will soon be carried out. Omar is happy because after the mission, he will marry Nadia, but on the other hand, it is surprising when his suspicions are correct that Amjad also wants to propose to Nadia. Tarek is more inclined to support Omar as his brother-in-law. Omar then contacted Hazen to meet at a restaurant at 3 p.m., even though that was the three of them's way of ambushing the Israeli police. The next day, the ambush mission was carried out. But who knows who leaked it, so the mission failed, and instead they were the ones who were ambushed by Israeli soldiers.
Omar, who was caught again, was questioned again by Hazen. This time, Hazen was harsher by threatening to make Nadia a prostitute. After several months, Omar, who wanted to protect Nadia, finally asked for a second chance to trap Tarek. Omar was also fitted with a tracker so that he could not escape, and was fully monitored. She immediately met her lover, but unfortunately it turned out that Nadia was already annoyed with Omar because many said he was a traitor, and also because Omar never replied to her letters while in prison. Omar, who refused to be called a traitor, was shocked that Nadia's character had suddenly changed. He also asked about Nadia's relationship with Amjad because Omar was suspicious of Amjad. The next day, Omar's emotions peaked when he again caught Amjad meeting with Nadia. Amjad was invited to a place to be interrogated by Omar after being threatened. Amjad finally admitted that he had leaked secrets to the Israeli police and was an Israeli spy. Not only that, Omar was very surprised and disappointed to hear that Nadia had been impregnated by Amjad. Then both of them realized that if Tarek found out that Nadia was pregnant with Amjad, then Amjad would be beaten to death by Tarek, which made him confused. Omar even promised to protect Amjad, even though Amjad had already impregnated his girlfriend. The two of them then met with Tarek. Tarek became suspicious that Omar and Amjad were Israeli spies because ambushes always occurred. When they gathered, and finally Tarek finds out that Amjad was the spy who leaked yesterday's ambush and also the one who caused Omar to be caught for the second time. Tarek becomes even more furious when he finds out that his sister has been impregnated by Amjad. Amjad was beaten and wanted to be shot, but unfortunately, the gun hit him and killed him. Tarek's body was handed over to Hazen, so that Omar's agreement would be completed and he could be free, even though Tarek was not the killer but Amjad. On another surprising day, Omar accompanied Amjad to propose to Nadia, even though his love for Nadia was very sincere. Even though he was disappointed, he was probably forced to so that the baby in Nadia's stomach could be taken care of. Until Omar gave Amjad some money for the birth process, which Amjad said the baby would be born prematurely, and Omar immediately burned his past items, such as love letters and photos of Nadia. Two months later, Tarek's body was found and would be buried here. Israeli propaganda was also seen framing that Palestinian fighters were good at lying, and even covering up deaths. After 2 years, Omar met with Muhsin, the leader of one of the brigades there. He asked about his suspicions regarding Tarek's death, which according to the results of the examination, Tarek's body had been stored in the refrigerator for more than 2 months. The next day while working, Omar was approached again by Hazen. He asked Omar to frame Muhsin. Omar was forced to comply because he was threatened to reveal Tarek's death to Nadia. Omar, who intended to tell Amjad about Hazen, met again with Nadia, who now has 2 children, while waiting for Amjad to come home. The two of them talked about their lives, having not talked to each other for a long time. And here it is revealed that Amjad lied. If he had impregnated Nadia before marriage. Amjad carried out this lie to alienate Nadia from Omar, and did not even give her the love letter that Nadia entrusted to him when Omar was in prison. And he was the person who spread the slander that Omar was a traitor. And during the application process, even though Nadia was still in love with Omar, Nadia was disappointed with Omar, who thought that Omar didn't love her anymore, so she accepted Amjad's proposal.
بعت رسالة مع أمجد ما ردت عليها.
Because his frustration peaked with Amjad Omar revealing a secret to Hazen about the real killer of the Israeli soldier, and he was willing to bring his body to Hazen on the condition that he lent him a gun. And also leaked secrets to Musin about the true incident and cause of Tarek's death. Then he met Hazen to borrow a gun. According to the conversation on the telephone, Hazen was happy to lend it and even taught Omar how to use a gun. But unexpectedly, the gun was actually used to shoot Hazen. And the film finished. The ending did not meet expectations.